Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. I am so excited that you're here today for this show. Look, before we get started, I want to draw attention to this magnificent shirt. Be kind to everyone. What in the world is this? So there is a TikTok user. She also has a presence on, I think, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And she just is living her best life. And it's a fantastic, uplifting, positive, and very encouraging thing that she does. Her name is Jordan. She's an amazing young woman, and I'm going to put links to all of her stuff down below. Check that out, and also pick up one of her shirts and support them as we do. Check out our Instagram, where we posted a picture of Mrs. Record-ology and myself sporting these cool new duds, and if you want to get yours as well, there'll be a link to do that as well. So first and foremost, a shout out to #SummerShirtProject and BeKindToEveryone.com. All right, let's get to it. This is going to be a fantastic show. But if you notice something odd here, this hair, it's just, have you ever seen the 1960 Rod Serling movie, The Time Machine? Which is, the beginning of that movie is so creepy. My dad got me started on this movie at a young age. I just love it. But when they get in the time, or he gets in the time machine and he goes into the future, and they get to this sort of weird utopian, creepy place, and there's all these people that look the same with this hair.
Do you have books? Books? Yes, we have books. Oh, wonderful. I can learn all I want about you from books. Books will tell me what I want to know.
Inside joke in our family is when my hair gets looking long and needs a haircut really bad, that I look like that. So hopefully that's not the case, but I kind of think it is. Anyway, okay, so today we are here to check out an amazing record. And what's really cool about this record is it's so unassuming, it looks so average, but when you get right into it, it truly is a very unique and very amazing record. It does something that not many other records can do. You're not going to want to miss this. It's fall time here at Record-ology, you guys. I cannot believe it. Summer is over. And here we are with cooler temperatures, at least in our neck of the woods. The colors are changing. It's absolutely beautiful. This is pretty much my favorite time of year, fall going into Christmas. I love this time of year. And as soon as Christmas is over, I'm ready for the snow and everything to be gone. But temperatures are getting cooler, and I enjoy that. However, we're not here to talk about squash or gourds. We are here to talk about records. This is Record-ology after all. How about this record? How does that work for you? You may be saying, whatever, some kid's record. By the way, the record isn't in here. I do have it. It's off camera. But I wouldn't be able to do this if the record was in there. So you look at this and you're like, this is awful beat up. I'll probably pass on this, you know. It's got interesting artwork. It's from the 1959 movie Solomon and Sheba with Yul Brynner and Gina Lollobrigida. Wasn't that one of the actor names that... what's his name? Jack Benny was always talking about Gina Lollobrigida. It's like one of those, I don't know. I could be wrong, but this is the Chariot race game record. Blah, 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 blah. You guys know where I'm going with this. This is a rare record. This is a unique record because it does something that not all records do. By the way, 49 cents, 45 RPM. That's nearly a penny per revolution. I think it's well worth it. Your children deserve the best. Give them RCA Victor Bluebird records. That's beautiful. What a sentiment. I agree. You should give your children RCA Victor Bluebird records. I love Bluebird records. You guys know why, too, because Glenn Miller, that was his label, primary label. Today, with RCA Victor's new low-budget prices, every family can afford these first-quality children's records. In this superb Bluebird series, your children will experience the enthralling art of storytelling and musical performances at their exciting best. There's some eager faces, and it's pretty typical for, records in general. I was going to say kids records, but, records in general to list. That's fine, you bought this one, but let's tell you some more. So there are the different titles. Interesting, so we got 45 and 78. Again, a lot of kids records in the 50s. This would be probably very early 60s or very late 50s. But it was very popular for kids records to still be on the 78 format long after, most popular and modern music had moved off of it. A lot of the kids record players were still in this format. So this is RCA Victor High Fidelity WBY115, and I want to thank the user that sent this in. This was an amazing gift. I'm not sure if you want me to share your name, so I'm not going to right here. But thank you for gifting this. Just contacted me out of the blue and was like, hey, would you like this record? I'm like, absolutely. So this record is a race. It's a game. And I know some guy named Tecmo, and you may or may not have heard of him, did a show about a similar type of record, although his had it was a game board and it was way more elaborate. This is just the record itself. There's no game to it other than, what is the outcome. Now, what am I talking about? Let's go to a little bit of high resolution, very top of the line motion capture graphics, and we'll talk about exactly what's special about this record. Okay, so a record is round. You ever seen those videos where those people try to, on a grease board, try to make a perfect circle with just like this flick of the wrist? I'm not like that. Okay, so here is our record as a backdrop to this very, very high-end simulation I am providing. Now, a record groove typically starts from the outside, although there are exceptions. We've talked about before, some transcriptions will be an inside start, but for the vast majority of the records that you and I are going to come across, it's an outside start. And in very simple terms, it is a spiral groove that eventually leads to the middle. It's a concentric spiral. Now, obviously, this is grossly exaggerated in its simplicity. But that's the essence of it's a single groove. There's only one groove on a regular record, and it will eventually lead to the end of the groove, or the run-out area, which is somewhere in the middle, usually. So that is a basis for what a regular record does. Now, this being a special record doesn't do that. It has 4 grooves, and that's why it's a mystery record. That's why it's a race. And depending on when you drop the needle, when you drop the stylus, you will hear 4 different recordings on one record, on one side of a record at that. It's absolutely amazing. How do they do that? Well, instead of having one groove, there are multiple grooves, 4 grooves. So the first groove starts there. The second one starts here. And it winds and winds to there. Same path, but starting in a different place, in a completely separate groove, and it will not repeat what's in this groove. It's completely separate. Then there's another one. The graphics are fine here, guys. You get the point. You get the point, okay? Then there's another one over here. Yes, Tecmo's graphics are awesome, okay? Shut up about it already. And the point is there's 4 different grooves, starting points. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, grossly exaggerated, but go ahead and screenshot this if you want, to use this as your wallpaper for the week. I understand why. That's how it works. Enough of this already. Let's look at the actual record. And yes, we are going to listen to this record. We're going to experience it as well. Here is the record itself. It's a rather unremarkable looking 7-inch RCA Victor. It is a beautiful record in its own right. Children's Bluebird Records. And I think Bluebird sort of became a children's label at some point for Victor. They started off being a subsidiary label of RCA Victor, and kind of the more jazz pop oriented music of the 30s and 40s, and then kind of morphed into children's records, if I remember right. This is 45 RPM. It is not an EP, so this has regular groove modulation. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, there are 45 EPs that basically have tighter grooves that fit more music in a smaller space. This is not. So this record is 2-sided. We'll look at the other side in a minute. This is side 1, and on it are the instructions for the Chariot race game and the story leading up to the Chariot race. This is by Sandy Becker. And this side of this record is a normal side. There's nothing remarkable whatsoever. However, if we flip it over, this is where the magic happens. So you'll notice some, funky groove action going on there. I think that's actually a scratch. I have not played this, by the way, so we're going to experience this for the first time together. But yes, this is the side. There are 4 grooves on one side of a record here, and they don't do it the same way they do with an EP where they can cram multiple songs on a side. This is, like we showed in the very high-end illustration, this is 4 separate grooves overlapping each other, all ending in the same point. And what's really cool is you can see it. Okay, so you can actually see it. Right where my thumb is right now, you'll see the first groove. See that opening gap right there? So that is the first groove. And then if we follow this around, you can kind of see where it is. The next one should be right over here. So let's find that groove. Yep, right by my thumb. See that lead in right there? Sorry, you have to look at my thumb. Let's look at the dead wax. Does it say anything interesting in there? Can't really make out anything that exciting in the dead wax there, but it does look pretty played, so it'll probably be pretty scratchy, but you see what I mean. Let's see if we can find the run out grooves where they spill out into the run out area. It'll probably be a smaller opening because there's no need for it to be wide. It doesn't need to catch the stylus. So it'll be the same width modulation as a regular groove. That's going to be really hard to see. So somewhere in there are 4 run out grooves, evenly spaced around, probably like the lead in, run in grooves. So, all right, that's the record. That's how it works. Now let's experience the record. And in order to do that, we need a cool kids record player because this is a cool kids record. So which one in our vast archives and the 100,000 square foot storage that Record-ology has, just kidding, it's not that big. Could I fill up that much space? No, not yet. I want to keep it that way. But I do have a cool record player, so check this out. That's right, it's Sesame Street by Fisher-Price. I don't think I've run across a bad Fisher-Price kids record player. These things are fantastic. They are rim drive. There's conductor, Big Bird up there. And the tone arm is Little Bird. I'm going to scoot back just a tad. Bear with me here. I love these like roller knobs for the volume and speed control. It's a great, great turntable. This one is battery operated. It should work absolutely perfectly. And I also love how the 45 adapter is built in just like that. Very similar to my 1979-ish Fisher-Price that I had as a kid. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to try and play the whole record. I want to do the whole thing. So hang tight, you guys. I hope you've got time for this. If not, you can skip through as you want, but I think it'll be fun. All right, let's start with side A or side 1 with the instructions and all that fun jazz. And
this is Sandy Becker. This is a new type of record inspired by the spectacular motion picture Solomon and Sheba, starring Yul Brynner and Gina Lollobrigida. The Chariot race is an exciting record that you can enjoy by just listening to it. But if you wish to play the Chariot race game with one or more of your friends, you can do so with this very record. The second band on this side gives you a thrilling account of the dramatic events and titanic battle leading up to the race of Solomon and his chariots to Jerusalem. However, to hear the actual race of the thundering chariots and to find out which is the first one to reach Jerusalem, turn the record over and play side 2. Side 2 is recorded with secret spiral grooves, which means that the same chariot does not win each time you play the record. Here's how to play the Chariot race game. There are 4 chariots in the race, a flaming red one, a bright green one, a shiny blue one, and a glittering gold chariot. Each player selects the chariot he thinks will win and writes it down on a piece of paper before side 2 of the record is played. Pick chariots by their color. The same chariot can be selected by more than one player. After each player has selected a chariot, play side 2. Listen carefully as the race is described. For example, if the red chariot wins, the player or players who picked the red one will win that race. A complete chariot race game consists of a series of individual races. Each race takes about 45 seconds. Players determine the number of races to make up the game. 5, 10, 15, whatever number is desired. Each player keeps track of the number of times that he picks the winning chariot. The player who has selected the largest number of winners wins the game. As the great spectacle of Solomon and Sheba moves towards its dramatic ending, we see that Adonijah, the treacherous brother of Solomon, has betrayed him to the Egyptians. Hopelessly, a pitiful band of Israelites under the leadership of King Solomon have ridden out of Jerusalem to try to stem the Egyptian hordes as they march upon the city.
They are nearly annihilated the first day, and of those who survive, many desert, leaving Solomon with only a few loyal followers to face the Egyptians and certain doom the next day. The traitor Adonijah and his followers ride to Jerusalem to proclaim him king, and then to capture Sheba and throw her to the mob to be stoned to death. But Sheba, the beautiful pagan queen, refuses to flee. Her love for Solomon is so great that instead of trying to save herself, she takes her life into her hands and goes to the temple in Jerusalem to pray for Solomon's life. Kneeling before the sanctuary, the pagan queen of Sheba prays to the God of Israel to spare Solomon's life. And then, in answer to Sheba's prayer, a host of deserting Israelites return to Solomon's camp during the night, and as he sleeps, a vision comes to him. The next morning, a large band of Israelites line up, facing the sun, on the edge of a deep canyon to meet the oncoming Egyptian army. During the night, the Israelites have burnished and polished their shields to mirror brightness, as was revealed to Solomon in his vision. When the Egyptian chariots attack in a thunderous roar, Solomon's men turn their shields to the sun. The blinding reflection of the sun on the shields throws the Egyptians into chaos. Men, horses, and chariots plunge blindly into the canyon before the Israelites as Solomon's men pour spears and arrows into their broken ranks. The Egyptian army is destroyed, and as the titanic battle ends, Solomon looks to the heavens and says, "Thou art the Lord God, and what thou hast done was out of love for thy people. If thou knowest what is in my heart, grant me forgiveness." And then Solomon springs to action. He commands a small group of his fastest chariots to race with him to Jerusalem to proclaim that the city of David is saved and to rescue the beautiful Sheba. As they race toward Jerusalem, 4 of the fastest chariots quickly jump into the lead behind Solomon. Which will be the first to enter Jerusalem? The red chariot? The green chariot? The blue one? Or the gold chariot? Turn the record over to find out.
This is awesome, you guys. This is literally awesome. This is super exciting. By the way, if you happen to notice this cool bracelet, if you happen to snag a shirt over at bekindtoeveryone.com, #summer shirt project, the shirts come wrapped in these different colors. Really cool. I love rubber bracelets, as you guys can see. I don't think I've done a single show without one on. I love rubber bracelets. Okay, so here is side 2. Let's check it out. And we'll play a couple different times, see if we can get a different answer. As he said, it's only 45 seconds per side.
As the chariots pass the halfway point to Jerusalem, the red and green ones are ahead. The blue and gold chariots are close behind. Now they move up, and the gold chariot goes ahead. They're in sight of the city, and the green chariot spurts into the lead. But the blue one moves fast and is now neck and neck with the green chariot. Now the chariots approach Jerusalem. The blue one darts ahead as they race up to the gates. The crowds roar with joy as the first to the gates. The crowds roar with joy as the first chariot thunders by. It is the blue chariot.
Okay, so the blue chariot won. Let us go ahead and try again.
It's ahead as they race up to the gates of the city. The crowds roar with joy as the first chariot thunders by. It is the red chariot. It is the green chariot. It is the gold chariot.
Yes, that's right, you guys. It's the gold chariot. Why am I so excited? Because I just spent 45 minutes for that chariot to win. I kid you not. Don't bet on gold if you have this record, because it took a long time for that to come up. So through the magic of editing, you don't get to feel that pain. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this record as much as I enjoyed up until I was trying to wait for the gold to win. And seriously, if you enjoyed this show, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so. But I want to ask a favor of you, and I'm serious about this. If you enjoy this show, if you've been watching for some time, or maybe this is your first time watching, welcome. But would you do me a favor, and this would really mean a lot to me, and it would help us out tremendously. Could I please, please, please ask you, after you're done watching this video, to go over to any social media that you have, whether it be Facebook, other YouTube, or Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, and just give us a shout out or tag us, or better yet, share our video with a friend or somebody that might find it interesting. That would be awesome. Okay guys, and that is going to do it. Remember, bekindeveryone.com and hashtag Summer Shirt Project. Did you know that we play records on TikTok? We play a lot more content on TikTok than we do on YouTube because we have different restrictions over there, and it's a little bit loose and a little bit easy for us to share stuff. So we have a blast sharing rare, cool, and interesting records. Definitely check that out as well. If you're not already a member of the Record-ology Vinyl Nation, consider yourself invited. With that program, we do an exclusive weekly show on Friday and exclusive members-only chats. You're going to want to check that out for sure. We just did another really fun show reviewing some vinyl just this past Friday. If you're not already a member of the Vinyl Nation, you'll definitely want to check that out. We have fun over there, playing lots of records, doing lots of cool stuff. But that, my friends, is going to do it for today. We'll be back on Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. God bless each and every one of you. Happy record hunting. See you next time.